Watch how hard we fight against the clock. We hustle, we grind, and try to force permanence into a world that refuses to stand still. The writer of Ecclesiastes looked at all this relentless human effort and asked a very blunt question. What do workers gain from their toil? When you tally up the extra hours and the stress, what is the actual, measurable net profit? The burden laid on the human race is the anxiety of trying to nail down things that are inherently designed to shift. We exhaust ourselves trying to freeze frame a reality that is constantly in motion. Contrast that with someone who has stopped fighting the current, a mentor who watches the frantic struggle with quiet, grounded acceptance, operating on a completely different rhythm. The deepest human weight is the futile desperation to control the future, a burden far heavier than any physical labor. This timeline illustrates our problem. It compares a microscopic, finite human lifespan against the infinite, expanding line of eternity. Ecclesiastes observes that God has set eternity in the human heart. We have an agonizing desire to comprehend this overarching timeline, but we can't. No one can fathom what God has done. Our vision is completely boxed in by a dense fog of ignorance. We are caught in an intellectual trap. We are cursed with a perspective that hungers for eternity, yet we are imprisoned within a strictly finite, unpredictable reality. Step back and the grand design comes into focus. There is a time for everything. Every activity under the heavens is bound to a predetermined season, cycling fluidly without asking for our permission. We happily embrace the constructive phases of this cycle, a time to be born, a time to plant, a time to heal, and a time to build. Yet the cycle dictates that destructive phases inevitably follow. There is a time to die, a time to uproot, a time to kill, and a time to tear down. This rule governs our internal lives as strictly as it governs the weather. There is a time to weep and mourn, woven directly into the same fabric as the time to laugh and dance. This diagram shows a pendulum swinging continuously back and forth. On one side are the constructive forces, and on the other are the destructive ones. It is a relentless rhythm moving between extreme opposites. Because our lives are dictated by unyielding forces, human effort cannot pause or stop the swing. Trying to manipulate this timeline is structurally impossible. The heavy gravity of these cosmic cycles eventually pulls us down to a much more intimate, physical reality. The text makes a harsh existential observation. Despite our intellect, our art, and our desperate desire for a lasting legacy, humans possess absolutely no biological advantage over the animals. The breakdown is precise and unsentimental. Humans and animals share the exact same breath. As one dies, so dies the other. The identical physical fate awaits them both. Look at this flowchart mapping out our physical conclusion. Both pathways lead straight back to the same source material. All come from dust, and to dust all return. When you view human ambition purely through the lens of this inescapable mortality, the declaration, "everything is meaningless," takes on a sharp, undeniable physical weight. In the face of inevitable biological decay and the ultimate reality of divine judgment, all our arrogance, superiority, and striving for legacy are entirely leveled. This realization offers an exit from paralysis. It marks a shift toward practical support, shared by someone who has made peace with the rhythm. The text demands a logical shift in perspective. If we cannot control the cosmic seasons, and if our physical fate mirrors that of the beasts, how exactly are we supposed to live our days? The answer is to accept our lot. This is an active, deliberate surrender of the impossible desire to manage the universe. True wisdom requires recognizing our microscopic scale. We find our footing the moment we actively choose to let go of our eternal anxieties. Once you stop fighting the clock, the nature of the work changes. The frantic anxiety dissolves into slow, steady focus. The writer prescribes a deeply pragmatic approach to a meaningful life. It involves doing good, eating and drinking, and finding satisfaction in the toil. These simple daily actions carry profound weight. The text explicitly defines finding satisfaction in your own toil as the gift of God. The underlying rationale is clear. Everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. Because that overarching design cannot be altered by human hands, our peace relies on revering that absolute structure rather than fighting it. You will never achieve happiness by trying to master eternity. You find it by experiencing profound, quiet joy in the specific season you are standing in right now.